Okay, guys, so I'm doing another task over here as well. So I'm making a separate video for this one also because it's quite different from the one which I did the first time, the one in the original tutorial, because this one requires a little bit more focus and a little bit more expertise uh, as compared to the previous one, which had a very obvious difference in accent, where one was a completely Chinese English accent, and the other one was, a much better standard, North American accent. So over here, it's the same woman just reading a little bit different. So I'll just give you a few examples. So you listen very carefully and look at the text as well. So for this kind of recordings, more high level clips, you have to follow the text as the person is speaking and look for punctuations as well, like commas and apostrophes and full stops and pauses and pronunciation as well.
Aglaïs shrieked as she clung to her lover and bade him save her as the wild lightning bolts rent the darkness. It was a horrid elemental tumult.
Okay, I think like she mispronounced the first word.
Aglaïs shrieked as she clung to her lover and bade him save her as the wild lightning bolts rent the darkness. It was a horrid elemental tumult.
Yeah, the first two words are not correct. Let's see if the other one is the same, then doesn't matter. Otherwise, B automatically becomes higher level.
Armaglaïs shrieked as she clung to her lover and bade him save her as the wild lightning bolts rent the darkness. It was a horrid elemental tumult.
I'll listen to it again.
Armaglaïs shrieked as she clung to her
Yeah.
lover
So
and bade
she
him
said
save her
direct,
as the wild
clearly Irma
lightning bolts
Goliath,
rent the
and B she
darkness.
did not.
It was a
So
horrid elemental
B is
tumult.
automatically becomes better. So but everything else is the same. So I'll say A is somewhat worse than B. Focus
Bending
here.
himself to the task, Clayton raised the fainting form of Armaglaïs. Her long hair lowered, swept around her in the storm.
Okay, so she perfectly followed all the punctuation. Let's see in the other one.
Bending himself to the task, Clayton raised the fainting form of Armaglaïs. Her long hair lowered, swept around her in the storm.
Okay, so I would say this is I'm indifferent. It's pretty much the same thing.
My gad, whispered Irma. She has told you only that you have suffered, my darling, said Clayton, folding her to his breast.
So she said my Gad, not my God. So let's see the other one.
My God, whispered Irma. She has told you only that you have suffered, my darling, said Clayton, folding her to his breast.
I would say it's significantly worse. It is significantly worse because she completely mispronounced, and also there was no pause after my God. Or
I thought that you held Worthington's private power of attorney, stoutly said Randall Clayton. I thought that you held Worthington's private power of attorney, stoutly said Randall Clayton.
okay, this is also exactly the same. So you have to follow the text.
Irma seemed strangely frightened as she cowered in her lover's arms, while he begged her to lift the veil of her privacy. Irma seemed strangely frightened as she cowered in her lover's arms, while he begged her to lift the veil of her privacy.
It's a coward, and over here she said coward.
Irma seemed strangely frightened as she cowered in her lover's arms, while he begged her to lift the veil of her
I would
privacy.
say A is somewhat better than B, but actually it should be coward or coward. It should be the same. Like I think it could be like different kinds of American accents. Again, it's your own judgment. What I'm asking you to do is to listen carefully every single clip.
Get the door open, he hoarsely cried. I will carry her in, then. I swear to you, I will leave her at once. Get the door open, he hoarsely cried. I will carry her in. Then, I swear to you, I will leave her at once.
It's also I'm indifferent.
The woman's heart was racked with the deceit which had entrapped a man she now madly loved.
Okay, also perfect.
The woman's heart was racked with the deceit which had entrapped a man she now madly loved.
Also, so I'm indifferent. I want to get to one there was one previously where you could clearly hear her mispronouncing a couple of words. So you have to be very careful with punctuations. Like she should pause over here, she should pause over here, she should pause over here. If she's not, and in the other one she is not as well, then it's the same thing. But if in the other audio recording she is pausing at the punctuations, then that means that clip is much more better than the other one.
But, even in his lover's exaltation, he listened to Madame Raffoni, who knelt before him in passionate adjuration.
Okay. Over here she said adjuration. I think this pronunciation should not be adjuration. It looks like adjuration, and over here I think she mispronounces exaltation as well. Let's see if in the other recordings also the same. Then fine. If not, then we need to find out or Google like what is the right pronunciation.
But, even in his lover's exaltation, he listened to Madame Raffoni, who knelt before him in passionate adjuration.
Yeah. So this one she's pronounced the same way.
But, even in his lover's exaltation, he listened to Madame Raffoni, who knelt before him in passionate adjuration. But, even in his lover's exaltation, he listened to Madame Raffoni, who
She
knelt before
pronounced
him in
both.
passionate adjuration.
So both were pronounced the same way. So we are not looking for right or wrong. If the one is pronounced differently, then we need to check which one was correct so that we can give a higher level rating to that one.
The few minutes before they were at their ease in Robert Wade's impregnable sanctum enabled Clayton to steel himself against the secret bridegroom's duplicity. The few minutes before they were at their ease in Robert Wade's impregnable sanctum enabled Clayton to steel himself against the secret bridegroom's duplicity.
Okay, so I would say it's the same.
Even while they murmured again their vows and drifted away into dreams of the unclouded future, the heavens were blackening around them. Even while they murmured again their vows and drifted away into dreams of the unclouded future, the heavens were blackening around them.
Okay, this one also I'm indifferent. So again, guys, in the end, it's all about your personal judgment. All you have to do is actually listen. I just wanted to give this as an example. All right, thank you very much. And if you have any question, please feel free to ask on Slack.